Hi friends, it's John here from the home recording studio. It's been a while since my last video and I wanted to update you all on what I've been up to. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you will know that I've been getting into sampling various instruments and creating virtual instruments using Kontakt or Decent Sampler. You can check out the instruments that I've already created by going over to my website, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. But lately I've been spending far too long on eBay and Facebook Marketplace trying to find a bargain and looking for unusual and lo-fi instruments. And here's my latest find. It's the Yamaha PS3. It's a lovely little keyboard from the early 1980s. It's got 37 keys and just 9 different sounds. So let me demonstrate. First of all, we've got the organ. Then we've got the flute. Then we've got the brass. Strings. Clarinet. We've got piano. And now we've got harpsichord. And we've got guitar. And finally, vibraphone. So what's nice about this keyboard is it's got a sustain button. So if you apply that, say to the guitar patch, and then we play with the sustain on, but the charm of this keyboard is that it doesn't actually sound like any of those instruments in real life. It has this wonderful type of sound which is reminiscent of vintage computer games from the 1980s. And if you apply a little bit of reverb and a few effects, you can really take the basic sound to another level. So of course I'm going to sample this keyboard and create a virtual instrument out of it. I'm just going through this process now, and I wanted to show you behind the scenes and what goes into sampling a keyboard like this. I've already captured the samples by recording a bunch of notes from the keyboard, one note at a time. It's a long process, but now that's all done, we can start to map the sounds out in Kontakt and start putting the instrument together. So let's have a look. I've recorded the samples into Logic. I've only sampled 10 notes across the whole keyboard, but I've sampled each note twice, and that's because I wanted to do a looped version and also a staccato version, which has the keyboard sustain on it. Let's just have a listen to each note. So there's quite a lot of noise there, but I have actually been into Isotope RX and noise reduced all the samples, so they are all in a separate folder and I've labeled them. And now we're going to make a Kontakt instrument. So I've set up a new track in Logic and I've got a version of Kontakt running here, and I'm going to create a new instrument. I'm going to hit the spanner icon and the mapping editor, and now we can drag our samples in. So into Finder, and we'll drag all the loops in with the noise reduction. Now when you drop them into Kontakt, I want to make sure that they are just spanning single notes at the moment. And so the way that you do that is if you raise or lower the mouse as you're dropping them in down to the bottom, then it will drop them on single notes. Now we need to auto map them, so if I select them all, right click and choose auto map setup, it's going to read the file name. This is the one that we want to look at, so the note name, in this case F0, we want to set that to a single key, and the rest of the file name, we want it to ignore that. So we hit apply, close that down. It's moved all the samples to the corresponding notes based on the file name, and then we just need to drag some of these down. So that one will drag down to there. All the others will drag down that way, and the final one will just drag that down to C. So we've got 4 octaves. The next thing we're going to do is set the start points, because if we hit play now on the keyboard, we're not getting anything because we started the sample later in the file. If we go into Wave Editor, you can see the file here. You can see where the audio starts. So let's just set the sample start time. Now if we zoom in a little bit, we'll get a bit more accurate placement. That seems like a good starting point. And what we can do is just quickly copy that start point to the other samples. So if we select them all, go to the cog here, and to all selected zones, copy current sample start settings. So now they should all have the same sample start time. They do. Some of them have a little click at the beginning because obviously for that sample the start is a little bit different. Well, there's a couple of ways you can deal with that. Either go into each sample and alter the start time, which I probably will do later, but just to solve this quickly for now, if I go down to the bottom of Kontakt and change the attack time, and now that's fixed the click at the start, and it works well for this sound because it's a flute sound, so yeah, you don't want the attack to be too quick anyway. Next we are going to set the loop, because at the moment this will just play for about 4 seconds and then stop. If we have a look again at the wave editor in Kontakt, then we have a little tab here called sample loop. At the minute it's not switched on, but if we switch it on, then it will give us these options here. Now you can set the sample start by dragging this control here, and we're just going to set it roughly at the moment. We don't want to set it at right at the beginning of the sample, and the same with the end. We'll just bring it in a little bit. So now it should be looping. which it is, but as you can hear, as it loops, it creates a little bit of a click. So the way I'm going to fix that is if I just click on loop edit, and you can see the loop point and how the waveform looks for each side of the loop. And at the moment you can see there's a bit of a gap there, that's why we're getting the click. And if we just adjust the loop end time now, I think we need to push it further. So as we push it up using the arrows here, you can see the waveforms are going to align with each other. And that looks like it's aligned now. So if we try the sample again, no click. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a little bit of a crossfade in of 1,000 samples, just in case. But that seems to be working pretty well now. And if we switch back, so I will have to do this to the rest of the samples. As a starting point, what I can do is select all of my zones again. And if I use the cog to all selected zones, I can copy current zones loop settings. And what that will do is give me a little bit of a starting point. But because each sample is going to be slightly different, each loop point will have to be slightly different as well. So for instance, let's have a look at this one. So you can see that again, the waveforms are not quite matched up, and what we'll have to do is make the adjustment again until they are lined up. We've gone a little bit farther. That looks good to me. The loop function is really quite intuitive, and the loop edit really helps you match up those loop start and end times. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful. So that's it for now. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about sampling or creating virtual instruments, or let me know if you've got any old keyboards at home yourself that you're thinking of sampling. It's a lot of fun and I can't wait to share with you my next virtual instrument. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, that would really help me out, and I'll see you in the next video.